everyone, how's it going? It's that time of year again. It's time to do my early 2020 in the bag. If you're not familiar with the channel, my name is Garry Patton. I'm an MVP sponsored player, and I also am sponsored by Paragon and Plastic Addicts. I haven't done it in the bag since before Pro Worlds last year, so I figured it's a good time to get a new one out there, kind of show you guys what I'm throwing. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So I'm gonna do something I've never seen anyone do this year. I'm gonna have the capability to nearly carry 60 discs at one time by strapping my Voyager Pro bag onto the handle of my Zuka cart. Like I said, I've never seen anyone do it, so this will be truly revolutionary. I'm obviously just joking. This is just my backup disc in here. And the main reason this is gonna be in the video also is because I'm gonna be splitting my workload between the cart and the bag this year. All right, let's just hop right into my cart. I'm gonna start with drivers. All right, so first I have two Neutron Nitros. I have a fresh overstable one, and then I have this, I wouldn't call it understable by any means, but way more straight to overstable discs, so they complement each other really well. And the way I have my bag set up, I kind of fill every slot. It'll run consistent here for a while. All right, next I have my three Neutron Panics. I have this fresh one here that I'm still almost exclusively throwing for forehands or pullover shots when I don't quite need the stability of the nitro. And then I have my two Neutron Schoolboy Panics. This has been in my bag for a long time. It's my consistent turnover disc, tail one shot, max distance disc. And then when it's a little too windy for that guy, I will pull out my blue one here. This also, it's moderately beat. I'd still say, 8 out of 10 condition. It's still in good shape. This also works great for my forehand shots. So far I've had everything just straight in line for consistency, as like stability wise. This is where it gets a little bit different. I have two Neutron Octanes in my bag. This gray one here is more overstable than my green Panic. That's really the only difference so far in stability. And then this blue one here is just like a trick shot roller disc. It's the most understable Octane I've ever thrown. So if I want to throw harder and get a similar flight to my Panic, to my Flippy Panic, this Octane here will complement it great. Go even further too because it's a faster disc. All right, next we start to get into my understable drivers. I bag two Proton Traces. This one's brand new. And the thing I like about the Trace, I tell people that beginner or experienced player, the Trace is gonna benefit you really, really well. Because if you're a beginner, it's gonna pop up, go straight for a bit, highs are out. If you're advanced, you can play with the angles. It's almost like a fast mid-range. To where if I throw it on a hyzer, regulate my arm speed to maybe 70% or so, it wants to pop up but hold that hyzer. If I throw it flat, it can hold shots up to maybe 50-60% where it'll turn over and kind of flex back to flat. Or if I want to smash it, full flight, put a lot of hyzer on it, let it glide all the way over and come back to flat. It's also great for wood shot shaping. If I'm throwing down a tunnel, I come off of a hard hyzer, pop to flat, and it'll just hold without going left or right too hard. So I have this new Proton here, which is my most overstable one. A circuit one that's kind of beat in. These are all kind of new because I lost two of my babies at Maple Hill last year. Hole 15 to be exact, if you're familiar with the course. And then I have this older stamped Neutron one. Sorry, I was holding it upside down. This one here is very understable, and it's good for turnover rollers too, and things like that. I don't favor the turnover roller, but this is definitely easy to throw that shot with for me. All right, on to my fairway drivers. I bag one Plasma Fireball. I don't really find the need to bag more than one of these at a time. This is gonna get the job done for anything I need overstable, anything sidearm, overhand shots. This really does it all for me. And I really don't need to bag two because this isn't a disc that I'd be tempted to throw on risky shots where I would lose it often. It's pretty much gonna go left. To complement that, I bag a plasma Tesla and then a neutron Tesla. So my plasma Tesla here is going to give me similar flights to the Fireball, but it'll hold straight longer and it'll also glide left more. The Fireball is a dark fade. The Tesla is more of a swooping fade. So they complement each other well in that regard. And then I have this older, the 100,000 PDGA stamped neutron Tesla that will hold my line and go over for me and just make big, straight, full power fairway shots. For example, too, like I'd say this Tesla wants to stay straight, maybe 390 to 400, but then finish left hard. And this Tesla here will give me 430 on a straight fade, or on a straight finish, I should say. Not a straight fade, that wouldn't make any sense. One thing I haven't really mentioned too, all of my discs are going to be 170 and up. I don't bag anything lighter than 170, and most of them being 174, 175. I think the only two discs out of anything that I've shown you so far, one of my traces is 171, and then honestly, I think that might be it. Maybe I have a Tesla in the low 170s, but most everything is going to be max weight. And then to my straighter fairway drivers, I have a beat-in shock here, neutron shock. This was actually the first disc I had in my bag. This thing is really, really good in the woods. It pops up, goes over, and it holds. Finishes more like 1 o'clock, more so than 12 o'clock. So this thing, I mean, just really, really wants to hold over. And if I'm feeling lazy on flicks, it's really easy to get distance, like 330 to 50 feet with this. So great disc, great wood shop shaping disc that still in my bag if you watched previous in the bags. And then I have a Proton Drift here. This thing is super easy for throwing hard hyzers into flip rollers, especially if I want something to turn quick on a roller. This is my disc. It's very good for shot shaping. If I want something to hold a big ante that's not so much dumping, it actually holds the glide, this is a great disc for that. And as far as distances go, I'm not throwing that drift further than 400 feet. I like probably like 380 to 90 with it a lot. All right, so move on to my mid ranges here. So for my overstable mids, I bag the Runway. I just really, really like it. I have one of the new Cosmics in here and one of the old Neutrons. The old Neutron, in my opinion, has a little more give to it. It's a little bit gummier, and the Cosmic Neutron is just a bit stiffer. Their flights are kind of comparable too. I get way more ground play off of the new Cosmic one opposed to the old Neutron one. However, I really love the Runway. It's my workhorse overstable mid. I like flicking it, throwing it backhand to about 315, 330, good hyzer lines, and then I probably flick it anywhere from 270 comfortably and in. I'm not wanting to really, really stress hard shots with this forehand. I do like hard shots with the backhand. And now to my favorite mid-range, Z Matrix. I have two Neutron Matrixes here, this one being a full season used and this one being brand new. Also has some sweet radial swirls on it too. So the Neutron, I found out, like the beat-in one here, I'll hit it on a hyzer, it pops up right straight for about 350, and then has a fade on it. And this new one here, if I throw it flat or even pull it a little bit, it kind of gives me that nice hold and then strong, consistent fade. The real reason I use the Neutrons mainly though are simply for headwind. They give me similar flights to the Proton in the headwind where the Proton would flip over more. So speaking of that, I bagged two Protons. This one's brand new and then this one's a year seasoned. I like to keep this ratio going on so I get different flights here and you can just add a variety of shots to your arsenal. So the Proton opposed to the Neutron, I'll get a pop-up out of them and they'll hold over for a bit and then finish more like straight 1 o'clock. If I'm throwing it maybe 60% power, I'll get the full fade back to the left, just slightly to about 11 o'clock. And for reference, if you're not understanding, just picture a clock, you know, and 11 o'clock would be right there to the left, just slightly. 9 o'clock would be severe to the left, and so on. And then this new Proton should handle a good pop, go over, and then still kind of come back for me. And then lastly for my matrices, I still have one newer Electron. This has been in my bag for about 4 months. Haven't hit any trees with it or anything. It gives me good grip in the rain, and it also still harnesses good stability for me if I need something to go left, or just not extremely left, but if I need something to hold straight and then finish left consistently. All right, lastly, moving on to my putters. I bagged 2 of the Eclipse Envies. The white rim here being my max distance shot. This putter goes as far as the mid-range. I mean, I can throw this thing 350 without killing myself, where I'm not like ripping it so hard I'm worried about injuring my ankles or knees or something. And then this red rim here is very overstable, so they complement each other well. If there's not as much wind, or if I need to go straight and there's some wind, I'll definitely grab the white one. If it's super windy and I just need to throw a full power shot, the red one's great. And so my favorite, actually I have one more new addition to the bag. I have recently put in the Electron Entropy. This is really, really good for if my hands are wet, if it's raining outside. I kind of get that good grip in the Envy flight that I can't, like if my hands are wet, I can't throw the Eclipse plastic very well. But the Electron, however, has great grip, so I can throw it, it's just a great complement to that disc. All right, so my favorite throwing putter, and also what I think is best for your form. Just a quick side note here. So if I start out a round and I'm throwing my anodes here, these are all soft Electron anodes. If I'm able to throw these at the beginning of the round, it's able to get my tempo and my form just right in line with where I want it for the rest of the day. Because this is a disc that'll call you on your crap essentially. So if you're throwing bad with this disc, it's not gonna fly good. Which sounds really stupid, but if I were to take an Envy, for example, let's say I'm pulling it over a bit and I'm late. My Envy is gonna swoop back and kind of be forgiving for me. If my form's off a little bit with this anode, it's gonna be terrible. I'm gonna be anteing out 50 feet to the right, and I'm gonna have a circle 2 putt that I wouldn't want. So that's why I really like this disc, and it's just really good for your form and keeps you honest. And they're really glidey, and they'll just go, straight. That's the ultimate goal in disc golf. We want to throw straight and make things as easy as possible. Sorry, I was just talking with my hands so much. So here's a new one here. This is what I'd be throwing off the tee if there was maybe a little wind, or there doesn't have to be wind because the disc is so straight. This will be a workhorse off the tee disc. And then if I need slight turn, I have this half-season beat-in one right here. And then for my big high pop-up anti-hold shots, I have this 1.5-year-old one right here. Typically, I would take a baseline putter out of the bag if it got like this. You're not going to be able to see it very well from my angle, but I mean, this thing has literal divots all the way around it, just from hitting trees being bent back, from digging my thumb in, various things like that. But this disc here is excellent for, if I have the ceiling, I can throw it on a hyzer about that extreme and it pops up. It'll just stick flat and it's not going left or right. So it's the ultimate straight wood shot chipping disc for up shots. Also, one more thing I'll do, I'll kind of get that double G or like nose up putt approach with it. I can run like standstill 70 footers without, if there's something in the way, I can just get a nice nose up run, and it's pretty safe most of the time. Except for if you watch the Jomez, what was it, like the Heartbreaks of the Year or something. I was in their final highlight video because I used this exact putter here on hole 13 at Worlds, and I hit the cage and rolled in the water. But still in my bag, I still have faith in it. All right, and lastly, I have my, if I can not drop them, I have my firm Electron ions here. I'm gonna putt with the same thing as last year. I was really feeling it. It's nice to have new grippy ones in the bag. And needless to say, not too much to say else about these. That was a tongue twister. All right, so that concludes my cart. So now let's just quickly go through the bag. So as we start out, same as the other bag, I'm gonna go real quick here. I have 2 Neutron Nitros. I have, well, I thought I had 2 of these. Let me see here. I do. I have 2 Plasma Photons. these are discs that they kind of go in and out of my bag throughout the season. Right now, I'm currently not needing the shots, so they're currently out of the bag. I have 2 backup neutron panics. I have 2 neutron octanes. I have 3 proton traces. I almost said matrices, sorry. 1 plasma fireball, 1 neutron fireball. 2 Teslas, 1 plasma, 1 proton. 1 sick cosmic runaway. 1 proton, sorry, I missed my flick. 1 proton matrix and 1 neutron matrix. And then for my putters here, you could expect and not be surprised that I have some soft anodes. I have 2 extra firm ions. Actually, I technically have 4 of these ions. For some reason, I really don't like putting with the non-swirly ones, but I want to put with these Team Stamp ones pretty bad, just to try them out. And these ones are swirly as well. And then last but not least, I have 2 more of the Eclipse Glow Invies. And so that'll pretty much do it, and I hope I gave you guys some good insight. I guess one more comment about the bag here. The reason I have these backups specifically that are in this bag, it'll alleviate me having to take boxes of discs to places. It'll kind of have everything in my bag, especially all these aren't new in here. Some of them are used and beat in already, so just ready to go. So I like having that ability, and then if absolute terror strikes and let's say I drive away and leave my whole cart somewhere, I will thank God I will have this in my car or something. I really hope that doesn't happen, because it's not going to be exactly the same, but the goal is just to have something as equal or as close as possible to my cart, or whichever one I'm using. I just want to have good backups at all times. So this has been my long in the bag. Thank you guys if you have stayed through this whole video. I appreciate you all for watching. Thanks to all my sponsors, MVP, Plastic Addicts, and Paragon. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later.